Get them at KISW.com.
Jim, you're a huge music fan. I always love hearing your stories about some of the rock stars that you meet, that you're idols of.
Yeah.
Have there been any good experiences recently? I know that you got to meet Ace Frehley, and that must have been awesome.
Ace came in for my birthday. They surprised me on Opie and Anthony. They brought in Ace Frehley for my birthday, which was cool because I had met Ace very briefly, but it was a chance to hang out with him. And he was actually a really cool guy. He's kind of shy. Mm-hmm. I've met all my idols, man. I mean, recently I got to, I guess last week, I got to do an hour interview with Ozzy. It was just me and him, and it's going to be played on regular radio. I just don't know exactly when, but they're going to cut it up to help promote the new album.
Nice.
So, like, I just got to sit in a room with him, me and him, and just talk for an hour, which was really...
that's good. How do you... And it's got to be tough, because if you love a guy so much, you still want to be a professional guy and not a complete fanboy, but that had to be tough.
I'm a complete fanboy. I'm an unapologetic fan. I got the questions out. We talked about the album, the re-release of Diary, all the stuff that he's going to be doing. But, I just asked fan questions, and, I really am. I'm not, believe me, I'm not Charlie Rose. And thank God I'm not Larry King either. How important is a voice for singing, Idiot.
Hey, by the way, can I just say this, because this is what, of course, got us to do the Star Trek Challenge, but when Andrew Koenig, Walter Koenig's kid, died, and you guys leading the way with all of the Larry King questions about Star Trek, why couldn't you find the kid? That's what I love about what you guys do on O&A. It's just like, there's a line that's crossed, and you guys go, oh, we don't even go. What do you mean cross the line? We live beyond it all the time. That was some great radio.
Thank you, man.
I loved it. I just was just like, and then I realized how big of a geek Ant is. I didn't know, or at least old school geek. He may not be keeping it going,
right?
But you got to be a pretty heavy-duty Star Trek fan to know as much as both he and I knew.
Yeah, really, Anthony's a weird guy because he can be extremely aggressive and angry. Like, you really never want to be on the receiving end of him when he's being vicious. But he's also a complete nerd in that he knows all this weird tech stuff, and he's a pervert. All he wants to do.
Boy, it really sounds like me. It's so bizarre because I'm also pretty aggro, and when you get on my bad side, I just go ballistic.
Yeah.
Is it the nerd rage? Is it something that you channel that nerd rage not only on the computer but on other people?
I get totally nerd ragey when I think someone's an idiot, and then it's just like, you know what, you're such an idiot, you don't know you're an idiot, you're trying to tell me you're not an idiot, and then at that point I lose it.
Right. Yeah. It's his anger doesn't come from being nerdy. That's like the only thing that kind of humanizes him sometimes, because he really is a psycho. But he's armed. Anthony's armed. He really is the greatest.
He's armed?
Oh, he's the greatest.
Now that's a mistake right there.
Walks around with a pistol. How do you not love him?
Oh, jeez.
He really does.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know what? There's so many movies been made about a guy like that.
I know. He really does. He drinks a little bit.
So he walks around with a pistol, has anger management issues, and drinks a little bit. There have been many movies made about a guy like that.
But I know he's falling down with a radio show. That's awesome. But it's odd that he's one of those guys that he's like a by-the-book guy, too. Like, he's one of the few guys I would trust to have a weapon, because he's a guy who actually goes by the book and doesn't do anything. He's an odd, like, law-abiding guy, too.
It's funny you bring that up, because, I think the ultimate test for a guy is that you say, hey, if I were to die and I left my money to this guy, would he make sure my family was taken care of? It sounds like Anthony would be that guy.
Well, no, in that case, I would say Club Soda Kenny. Anthony would never steal, but Anthony would be too much of an alcoholic blackout to remember how much of the money was supposed to go to my mother and how much he was supposed to buy alcohol with. I think that would be the issue.
Good point.
But Anthony would never steal from you.
So I'll know he won't shoot me unless he's really gone by his own list and said,
absolutely,
okay,
yes.
All right, you have pretty much qualified for all of my bullet point reasons why you should be shot.
Yeah, but he'll leave your cash on the table while he bangs an 18-year-old. That's just what he does.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a very fun show to do. I mean, and Ope just had a baby too, so it's such a they're both.
Now, you know what? It's been so long since I've really talked with Opie.
Yeah,
I know that he had a long-term relationship that ended. He's got another girl, obviously.
Oh yeah, for a year he started dating. Did we actually?
Did he get married?
Oh, Ope's been married a little over a year. November.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sort of. That's the last I heard is that he got married. Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Had a little boy, just had a son, a healthy son. Kid was like, how much did the kid weigh when he had a kid? Like 9 pounds.
9 pounds, 20.
I'm going to tell you something, Jimmy. Are you watching how Opie will change? Because Opie's been a guy like we all were. I remember when we hung out with Opie when we were interning in Rochester, and Opie, like all of us, we're really just juveniles. Right. Juveniles who refuse to grow up. Once that kid comes into your life, it is a massive change. And for Opie, he's done it. In his 40s, he's decided, all right, let me do it.
Right.
But you do change. You go, okay, I got to not be an idiot all the time anymore.
It's hard to say because she just had it probably 3 weeks ago.
Oh, watch him. Watch him, Jimmy.
And now he's still not sleeping, so it's like, you're like, is he going to be, he's still the same guy I know, because he comes in half like he's just miserable because he just woke up. He's got like 2 hours a night. So I haven't seen him become like quote unquote dad guy yet.
It might here's what, for me, how it happened, because women, of course, love the kids. They love them when they're little. I kind of looked at my kids when they were little going, what do you do with these things? They just cry, they go to the bathroom, they eat, and they're not really even fun to be around.
Right.
As a father. When my son started being able to do some cool things with me, like he started liking some movies I liked, and we started doing stuff together. For me, because I never had that relationship with my dad, where we were buddies, that's when all of a sudden I go, hey, I got to make sure this kid's got a good life.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's in a weird way, they call that inner child work. You start realizing, whoa, you know what? I'm going to do for him what was never done for me.
I went and held the kid. They live in the building next to me. So I went, it's weird. It was cool to hold a baby, but it scares me more than it makes me want to have one. It's like the responsibility of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they say sometimes if a woman holds a baby, like it makes her want to have a kid. But to me, it was like, oh, here. It just frightens me, because I'm like, I'm so irresponsible. It's like, what do you do with a baby when you're trying to get massaged? You know, it just showed me how I couldn't. But he wanted it. That was no mistake. They wanted a baby. He wanted to be married. It's like, if that's the way you should do it, if you want it.
Right.
Me, I know I'm too irresponsible.
But here's what I would say, and you bring up a good point, Jim. Can we ask women to stop asking men who aren't the father to hold the baby? I don't want to, because I'm afraid I'll hurt it too.
Right.
And I had 2 kids, but I don't want that. I mean, if anything happens, that's the most prized possession they have.
Right.
Other women love to hold babies, no matter whose they are. You know what I mean? They don't care. But what guy wants to go, let me hold the baby? I mean, I'm afraid if I drop this, I'm probably going to be in trouble.
How embarrassing, too. Like, I sat down. I actually made sure I was sitting down so the kid couldn't fall. And my girlfriend was going to hold the kid, too. I'm like, sit down. You're not dropping the baby and making work really uncomfortable for me. That's all I need for you to do. You know how awkward that would be?
That would be awkward if you killed one of your coworkers' kids.
Or even if the kid was fine, he would just always secretly hate me for allowing such an idiot to hold him. Even if the kid didn't have a scratch, he'd still like, why'd you let that dumb, klutzy broad, you... So I made her sit down and hold the baby. I'm like, and give it back immediately, and don't talk to the baby. Babies frighten me. There's so many things that can go wrong with a baby. They frighten me.
That's so true. It is so true.
But the kid's healthy, and it's like, look, I'm happy for him, because that really is what he wanted. But it's like he's working with 2 people, and myself and Anthony, who are so completely not father material. Ant would probably be a good dad if he wanted to have a kid. He'd be a great dad, because he knows all that stuff that kids like. But I just have no desire. None.
But it's good that you know that, and it's good that you don't get pressure, because you know what? Our society thinks that, oh no, you'll learn to love it. Like, they can't accept that some people just don't want to be parents.
Yeah, my girlfriend's the same way, too. At this point, too, she doesn't want it. She's not ready for a kid. And again, when you're dating somebody who's just as dirty, she's dirty, and I really like that about her. I don't want to see her in mom mode. I don't want to see a compassionate side of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
You're right. And you know what? That is some of the disappointment that happens for us guys. We get married. We know the girl we married, and she does get a little bit more puritanical when the kid comes. And you go, you're still a good mother. You're still going to be a good everything and still do what we used to do. Why can't you?
I think that's one reason, like, a lot of guys cheat. When you look at Tiger, you look at Jesse James, it's like, I don't know if Sandra Bullock became a mother, but it's like when you look at a woman and all of a sudden she shows you the nurturing, loving side of her. That's great sometimes, but as a male, you need somebody who's going to be filthy. You really do. It's how we don't get bored. Women need to be loved and hugged. We need somebody who's going to be a complete dirtbag to keep our interest.
Well, and Jim, it's not like you're saying something that's a revelation that no one's ever said before. The whole, whore in the bedroom, mother in the front room, and a woman in the front room. I mean, that's been going on for years. But the feminist movement, I think, has basically told women, you never have to be a whore ever again.
And they also tell them you never have to be a mother ever again. You can just be a lesbian who wears a suit to work. That's what feminists tell you. But it's feminist. It's like to say that you don't have to be a whore or dirty. It's kind of silly, because that is, if you want to keep a man, that is what a man likes and requires. We get bored.
You know, we just had a conversation, and I'm going to bring it up. I don't know if this woman listens, but she's a friend of ours. And, she talked about how she wants a guy to pay for everything. She says, I'm at the stage of my life, I want a guy to pay for everything. So the question I had was, okay, and what are you going to do for him?
Right.
And she goes, well, I'm just going to be there. I go, I got news for you. Here's what I would say. If I'm going to pay for a chick that I don't know, we better be having sex.
Absolutely.
I will pay for I will take you on trips. I'll do whatever you want to do. But if I'm single, you're single, and at the age she's at, like at the age I'm at, I don't want to play those stupid games anymore. If I'm with a single woman, hey, we're going to have sex, and what do you want? Yeah. I want sex. I don't want to just hang out for companionship. I get that anywhere I want.
That's the beauty of email and texting, is you can get to know somebody so much before you actually go on a date with them, you can throw out little things and throw out little sexual questions, and you see where it goes and what's going to happen. And if she's a dud, you never meet up with her. That's the beauty of it. If you ask what kind of panties do you wear thongs or boy shorts? I like to get an answer. I like to wear this, I like to wear that. But if she's like, oh, I don't kiss and tell, LOL.
Winky
Bye.
face. Yeah.
Bye. Yuck. Who's laughing out loud at that? She doesn't kiss and tell. Yuck. Then you don't get dinner.